are a pair of retro R.M boots better than the modern R.M boots? Well, in this video, I want to be discovering that. And if you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe. Now, how to date R.M boots is actually pretty easy. Inside the left boot, they actually have the month and the year which they are made. On the retro pair that I have, there is none of that. So I do not know when these boots were made. Now, another way to tell the difference of the shoe is actually the tags. So currently on the black ones, they have a black and white tag. Before that, they had a yellow and black tag. So that's one way you can tell the black boots, but these ones here, no idea. The best I could find was there was a girl who said that she bought a pair of R.M boots, a 90s pair, and they had the exact same tag as these. So I'm going to be saying that these are a 90s pair of boots. Now, I can't confirm that. I might be wrong, probably am wrong, but for the sake of this video, they are a retro pair. But it's also interesting how these have become these, and they've actually done some pretty cool things to actually maintain the modern pairs to these. Now, the first thing I'm going to be talking about is the leather. Of course, I can't tell you what leather these are. I just don't know. But assuming these are obviously, the modern ones are yearling leather, so these could be yearling leather. I assume they are. Now, this color of shoe, this dark brown, is what they have throughout their history. These ones here are just a different brown. Now, the next thing obviously on these boots is they have a different toe shape compared to my ones. And again, because there's so many varieties of R.M boots, this probably isn't much of a big deal because some of the vintage ones I've seen or retro ones I've seen, they sort of have a similar toe to mine. Just these ones here just have a pointed toe. Now, this sole on this is actually a leather sole, but these are solid. You can just feel that these are an absolute solid pair of shoes. You know, this leather, completely solid. This is where it's fascinating because I was expecting these to be Goodyear welted and they're not. It's a nailed sole. So essentially there is no stitching at all around the shoe. But you can just see the simplicity of these shoes because one piece of leather, elastic sides, nailed in sole, that is pretty much what you want in the Outback. You don't want to be worrying about stitching and laces and all that. So that was, to see these simple shoe was it mind-blowing. Now, there are some cons with that. I'm not sure how easy it is to change the sole, but another con is that you have nails coming through the sole of the shoe. Now, I'm not sure if this is the original sole, but obviously if you get it repaired, you have nails coming through the shoe, and you know, one of them is actually, you know, I could feel it. So it's, you know, you got to be careful. Obviously they've switched to a Goodyear welt, and it's actually very amazing how they've actually kept the sort of the shape of the shoe very similar to these ones here. So if I look down from these shoes, you can't really see. We can kind of see the sole, but it's very hidden. Unlike, you know, you see some shoes that have the Goodyear welt sticking out of them. You don't have that with this. What they've done with the modern ones is they have tried to keep that where you don't see the welt of the shoe. Obviously, you can see the welt of the shoe slightly, but they've done a really good job in sort of maintaining, not seeing that, you know, not seeing any sole. Now, that's probably the biggest differences on the shoes. It's quite similar. There's the double stitching all the way around. Same with on the newer ones. You know, same stitching at the back. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually cut through these shoes and actually see what they look like. Are the modern day R.M boots better than the retro pair? Well, let's have a look. Now, and these ones here, there is a bit of foam in it. The person has put some foam in it. On the other shoes, you don't have that. Now, this is so simple in design. Leather, some cork. It looks, I'm not sure if that's leather as well. And there's also a metal shank. Now the older RM Williams tend to have a metal shank, but they remove that and they have a plastic one. And the reason is for metal detection in security at airports, which is something I'm not really like, I don't really mind too much. But obviously metal sounds better, looks better, etc. Compared to the Craftsman's that Rose Anvil took apart, these are still more simple than that. You know, even in the heel section, it's just leather, is very basic. In the Comfort Craftsman's, obviously they are very different. There's a lot more board in them, a lot more foam in them. What I like about this is just how simple it is. And when you think of like a leather shoe, kind of think of that on the inside. Now, I'm not sure how comfortable these would be. I'm not sure if these shoes have been resold. I'm guessing they have, because what you can actually see is it looks like there's been holes, like there's holes in the shoe that obviously those nails have been taken out when it's been resold. I guess the problem with this shoe is that when you have to get it resold, you get those, the insole is going to get those nails going through it. But, you know, I can even kind of feel a nail here and there. Under here, when you take this sort of piece of leather off, you can see where the nails go through for the heel. Now the next thing is to see how the sole is attached. Now you can see on the heel, all that material goes underneath. This is similar to the modern day ones as well. The material goes underneath and the heel is attached. The material goes underneath, like the back. So that means that all around the shoe, the leather is folded over, and then the sole is just nailed on. So it's just a very simple shoe. No stitching, you know, you don't need a machine, etc. But I can understand why the switch to the Goodyear welt. So we have the toe cap, kind of like a hard plastic. And then for the heel, I'm not sure if it's leather. I don't think it is leather. It kind of looks like leather, but I'm not sure if it's leather. So the two materials are completely different. In terms of the thickness, this was a big thing for the Rose Anvil videos. The upper is 1.6, the lining is 1.6. The other lining, I can't remember what it was. This little piece in here was about 2 millimeters. The insole was about 5 millimeters, and then the sole was about 5.5 millimeters. So very thick leather. Now leather tends to have variation to it. The leather actually kind of feels quite nice, actually. Same with the lining. So comparing to the modern ones, they've actually done a really good job in sort of keeping that same color of the linings, but they've obviously just made some differences. They've obviously Goodyear welted. They've changed some of the design in the sole. Obviously replaced the metal shank, and they've also changed the thickness of the upper and lining leather. Overall, I think the retro pairs are better than the modern pair. The reason is I like the thicker leather. I don't like how they've made the leather a lot thinner. I like how simple the sole is. I like that there's a lot of leather in the sole. Again, I'm not sure how comfortable this would be. However, the modern ones have the Goodyear welt, which is probably better, and you don't have to worry about nails coming through the shoe if you get it resold. So overall, I think the retro pairs are better. If you obviously want comfort with your shoes, you know, the Comfort Craftsman's is good, but you obviously have that a lot more foam and board in the shoe. But if you obviously want more leather, there's the Craftsman's. This was a really fun process just to take a pair of classic R.M. Williams boots apart and show people what they look like. But honestly, what do you think? Do you think the retro pairs are better or the modern day R.M. Williams boots? Let me know in the comments section, and also be sure to like and subscribe.